Hey gang, Kyle here, and I just wanted to do a quick video on a proper kettlebell swing for those of you that are doing this 10,000 swing workout. It's a great workout. I've done it a few times myself. I've modified it a few times just to kind of make it my own and fit my personal needs. But it is a great workout, but it is going to hurt you really bad if your swing form is off. So I'm just going to kind of break down what kind of swing would be ideal, or what they're talking about when they say a proper swing, versus a lot of times people end up doing a squat swing if you haven't done a lot of kettlebell work. I have heard a lot of people ask stuff about your hand position as well with the kettlebell, because you are doing literally 500 swings per workout and anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 swings per week over 4 to 5 weeks, depending on how you break up the workouts. So I'm just going to cover that stuff for you guys, hopefully ease some of your pain. It is a great workout. I do strongly recommend it. You just be careful and do it properly so that you don't give yourself some long-term injuries and ailments and everything else. I apologize in advance for tucking my shirt in and stuff, but a lot of the stuff I need to explain has to do with hip position, and you need to be able to see it. So it's not my thing, but I'm doing it for you. So that being said, 2 different kinds of kettlebells for the most part. The most common one is going to be your cast iron kettlebell right here, which it's literally a big cannonball with a handle attached to it. The cool thing as far as this workout goes with the cast iron bell is that the handles tend to be a little bit bigger and a little bit wider, so it's a little bit easier to two-hand these kettlebells. Whereas with the competition bell, everything's standardized, and the width of the handles tends to be a little bit shorter. So for some of you, if you have big hands, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to get both hands in there. It can still absolutely be done. It's just a little trickier, and you're going to want to know what to work on. So depending on which kettlebell you get, you have what you have, and you're going to have to make do with what you can. So I recommend leading with either your 2 or 3 fingers here. I can't get both my hands in here. I possibly can with the cast iron, at least for a few reps. And so I'm going to put my hands right in here, but I tend to leave my pinkies out. If you squeeze your pinkies in there, you're probably going to get some blisters right in the middle of your hand. So I would get your hands as close together as you can. You're probably looking at these 3 fingers. Which side's the camera on? Here. You might be able to get the pinky in there to rest, but you're probably going to get something like this. So this would be a 2-handed swing. I've done versions of it where I've just actually used 2 kettlebells instead of 1, so each had its own. But this is going to tax your grip, so get comfortable with it. You're going to play around with it, and if you do your swing properly, even if you were hanging on with 1 or 2 fingers, it's not going to be a big issue, because if you're doing the swing properly, you should still have good control of your kettlebell. So this is a cast iron. This is a competition bell. As you can see, getting 3 is going to start to rub. So I'll still do that, but I'm going to get this far corner as far as I can, and I'm almost pulling my hands out so that the force is going this way rather than mushing them together right here. So that's kind of how I hang on to it, and I literally just use this monkey grip. So it's going to be super rough to actually get a solid grip on that. I monkey grip it with, for me it's about these 3 fingers, and a lot of times I'll just leave my pinky on the outside. So that's just for me, and that's how I've done it in the past, as opposed to just using 2 separate kettlebells and going wide. As far as how the workout's designed, for guys, they recommend a 24 kilo kettlebell, which is this. Traditionally, the competition bell, 24 kilo or 50. So, competition bell and cast iron bell. Talked about the grip, so now we're going to talk about the swing. So, when they talk about a proper swing is making use of your hamstrings and your glutes to do the movement. So, and I don't necessarily always use the word proper because it's not necessarily wrong to do it other ways. But if you do that traditional squat swing, like a lot of people do, you will not make 500 swings 4 to 5 times a week. I'm just telling you, it'll break you. Your knees, your shoulders, your back. So your squat swing, which a lot of people do, is they literally just get here, they squat, and they stand. And so they're using next to no momentum. Their knees and their lower back are taking all the force, and you're forcefully having to use your arms, which means you forcefully have to hang on to it with your forearms. So that's gonna tire your grip out. Even doing this properly, your grip is gonna be super taxed by the end, especially if your strength set is a pull set, either pull-ups or bent rows. So those days are super brutal on your hands. So get your form down, maximize the use of it. When they talk about a proper swing, or a hip hinge swing is typically what I call it, instead of doing this straight down and up movement, you're actually arcing the bell and you're pushing your hips back. So it's closer to a deadlift than it is an actual squat. So now I'm using momentum and I'm taking use of that pendulum. So the movement's gonna go here, I'm gonna push the hips back, and then I'm gonna pop the hips to get the kettlebell up here. So boom, and I'm only swinging it as high as my hips will throw the weight. So I'm not using extra shoulder movement to pull the weight up. I literally, if I need the weight to come up higher, I gotta snap my hips more. So I'll just demonstrate with the cast iron. More of you probably have a cast iron than a competition bell, but you know, they both work similar. So the cast iron bell, I recommend starting with the bell out in front of you just a little bit, so you can start with that arcing movement here, and then as you pick it up, you go right into that swing. So the movement's going back, and a lot of you, if you're not familiar with kettlebell movements, it might look like I'm gonna put a lot of torque on my back because I'm straight down like this. And if gravity's going straight down, yes, my back is taking all sorts of stress. But when the kettlebell gets to here, it's actually moving this direction. So I'm actually in line with my spine, which protects my lower back. But I'm actively letting that kettlebell go that direction. I mean, if I let go of it, it should shoot behind me this way, okay? So it's literally like my body's the swing set, and my kettlebell is the little kid that I'm pushing. So I'm here, the kid starts swinging, and I'm just pushing the kid on the up part. Let him swing back, boom, hips, hips, hips. Now, right there, I tucked my pinky in and I could already feel it rubbing right there. And that was like 5 swings. So I open up my pinky and I'm just actively holding with these 3 fingers. So I'm here, back swing, boom, hips, hips, hips. So my legs, they're not locked out straight, but once they're here, they're not moving a whole lot as far as my knees. My hips are going back, but that's it. And then when I pop forward, I'm not pushing forward with my hips. I'm just snapping, and I'm trying to make myself tall. So I'm snapping the top of my head up to the ceiling, and that snap should snap the weight. So here, and I'm just hip snap, hip snap, hip snap, hip snap. Be sure to stay really high thigh. We usually tell people get wrist to zipper. You want to be as high crotch and high thigh as you can, because right here is where my power is. If I start getting below it and I get below my knees, then I'm going to be pulling my back into it, which that's a big no-no. So I'm literally getting my wrists as high thigh as I can, and I'm basically catching the weight with my hips through my wrists. So I'm holding the kettlebell here, try to get this angle, and I'm connecting, and I'm letting my wrists hit my hips and my inner thigh, and then I let the momentum carry my butt back. So I'm here, the momentum's going this direction. Once that swing ends up and it's ready to come back, I wait for it to hit the center, then I pop my hips. So you're literally pretending you're pushing a kid on a swing set. So you push them here, boom, you let them go all the way up, they come all the way back, they get to here, you push them again, boom, push, boom. It's that same thing. So kids here, and I push, let them swing back, push, push. My arms are real loose. I don't have a tight, fixed grip. You can tight grip it and flex your arms, but 500 reps will burn you out absolutely. So I would stay relaxed, focus on the hips, the posterior chain. Swings are amazing. They're a phenomenal exercise. They counteract directly what most of you have is postural issues. So if you work at a computer or you sit in a chair or you're driving in a car, you're really flexed here in the hips. Your glutes are stretched out all day. So you get weak glutes, tight hips, your posture gets pulled forward. So you get tight chest, weak back. The swings directly counter all that. So when I'm here, I'm actually contracting my glutes, I'm firing my upper body, and I'm posturing up. So swings are amazing for counteracting what your body's doing in a typical day if you have a job where you're sitting a lot at a desk or you're driving. So they are great, but keep in mind too, if you haven't been doing a lot of swings, these are gonna sneak up on you really quick. You can absolutely condition them. I would look at it more like running than I would lifting. Because if you're doing them right, you can do 500 swings and be fine, as opposed to 500 bench press reps is gonna be a different story. So work on your form, really get in tune with it, problem solve it. Again, make sure you're staying high thigh. I can't stress that enough. If you drop below and you don't connect to your legs, this is gonna really yank on your lower back, I promise you. You literally wanna make your wrists and the weight push your hips back. You don't wanna drop your hips back before your hands get here. This is gonna be all lower back. This, hit my hips, pop back. That's my glutes and my hamstrings. And you're gonna feel that stretch reflex. When I stretch my hamstrings out real quick right here, they're automatically, it's gonna be like stretching a spring, and it's gonna snap my hips back forward. So you get that stretch reflex, pop, stretch, pop. But I'm just going straight up. I'm not going up here to get the weight up. I'm just snapping my hips. And if I want that weight to go higher, I snap my hips more. So some of you, and I recommend you do this, don't worry about the height of your swing when you start. If you start right here, just enough. And then when you want more, snap your hips more. Snap. So my arms are still loose. I mean, I can bend my elbows. I mean, I can tight grip really tight, but I'm gonna burn out super quick. So I stay real loose in the hips, let that stretch reflex pop my hips back forward, here to here. I'm trying to stay away from this. If I do this, I'm losing all momentum. I'm pulling that weight from a stop to a go, which again is not wrong. It's just gonna be very hard because you're literally overcoming inertia every single rep, and it's gonna tax and challenge your posterior line, your knees, your lower back, all of that. So be real careful with that. See, I'm breathing a little heavy. I mean, 24 kilos is no joke. When you get in shape, you'll be amazed how much this helps you as far as from a structural point of view. It's a good base. I love doing it to kind of restart programs, to kind of just reestablish my internal structure and durability. It connects a lot of things that are out of place if you're kind of out of shape and off track. But you do need to, with this workout, you need to look at the swings as a recovery. So the way I understand the workout, your goal is to kind of finish it faster each time you go through. So you're not really changing the weights. You're actually increasing your ability to recover between the sets. So you should try to get to a point where the swings are more of a active recovery than they are. I mean, you can absolutely tax them and go for it, which is great for your conditioning. So that's the great thing about the workout. There's a lot of flexibility in you do it and what you're going after. But if you're doing it properly, it should not take more than 30 minutes tops. So I recommend doing that. I hope that's enough to at least get you started with the swings and what you're doing and how you're doing them. If you guys have more questions on it, please don't hesitate to message me or let me know. Like I said, this is just a real quick explanation of how to do a proper swing or a hip hinge swing versus a squat swing where I'm just here pulling up, here pulling up. I'm actually swinging back, up, back, up. So think more of like hiking a football, and I'm literally fully extending back here. A key note, if the kettlebell's flipping up at the back end and kind of hitting you in the butt, it means you're stopping too soon and you need to let it go out. So it'll kind of look like this. It'll go here and it'll kind of flip right at the end. I don't know if you guys can see that, if I'm stopping too early. So really reach and then go. So reach between, go. But my hips are not moving back until the weight hits my hips. If I go earlier, then I look like this, and I'm going below my knees, and my lower back's gonna kick in. So be sure to stay away from that. Again, message me if you guys got any questions on that. More than happy to help you out. Good luck swinging. It's a great workout. Go for it.